Hey everyone, Ivo once again. Welcome back to another movie review. Today I'm going to talk about Stallone over the top, Rocky, Rambo, Cobra, and now Hawk in the biggest fight of his life. Over the top, 1987, which get a grip on some championship entertainment. This is an 80s, 1970 classic, an 80s classic, a sports action arm wrestling movie, and one of my favorite Sylvester Stallone movies of all time. I'll say it's a classic, but I think this movie is underrated. I mean, I reviewed this movie last year, and it's like 50% it has on Rotten Tomatoes. On IMDb, it has what, 5.7. People shit on it. But there's this movie in 2013, Real Steel, with Hugh Jackman, who stole the movie and has like 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, and steals this movie, copies this movie, makes a shitty, lousy job. This guy Hugh Jackman was a douchebag in that film. His character was a douchebag. He was an asshole. He wanted to soul his own son for being such a selfish prick. While Lincoln Hawk, he will never do that. He even fight those two guys who tried to steal his son. This movie to me is better than Rocky 5. This is a true movie, a real movie, a beautiful movie. I mean, I miss 80s classic movies like this, you know. I miss 80s classic movies like this. What I do is just try to take my head and turn it around. It's like a switch that goes on. And when the switch goes on, I feel like another person. I don't know. I feel like a truck, like a machine. You know, I just love that line. What I do is just try to take my head and turn it around. It's like a switch that goes on. And when the switch goes on, I feel like another person. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a truck, like a machine. And I just love this film to death. It's about father and son. And I think those two, sorry. I think that those two did a great team. I think that Sylvester Stallone and David Mendenhall, Michael Cutler, I think these two did a great job. Great team. They did a great team this movie. There was, I remember last year when I reviewed, last year was actually my more respective this film. It wasn't retrospective review, it was more into it than now, because I did not research that much today. But I remember that there was an obligation about Sylvester Stallone that is still like a ghost haunting. There's like a girl, an underage girl at the time, claims that Sly and his bodyguard tried to rape her. I don't remember that obligations a lot, but what I know is that Brigitte Nielsen and actor David Mendenhall, they both defended Stallone because it was in Las Vegas and this movie was filmed. It was actually in Las Vegas, and that girl was accusing Sly like raping her. I mean, that's a fucking obligation. It's probably a fake or a lie, in my opinion. No one knows, but he did. But he focused to do Rambo 3 that time. But yes, he defended Sly, that said it's not true, and also Bridget Nielsen, when she was married, also defended Sly. And you know what? This movie is a classic. Fuck Real Steel. Real Steel steals the movie. I mean, this guy is a douchebag, tries to soul his own son. I mean, Lincoln Hawk will never do that. But I don't get why 7.1 gets released. This movie is like 5.7 IMDb, for 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. But that movie has like 71%. It's not that even good a movie. It's a garbage, piece of trash movie. It makes a lousy job copying this movie. So if it's not this for you, then watch that film. But I'll watch Over the Top anytime. And it's really hard me choosing which is my favorite, Lock Up or Over the Top. And I'll probably put Lock Up above this film because I enjoy prison film, and that movie has more action. This movie has 3 action scenes in the film that I counted, but Lock Up has more action. I don't remember if I saw this film with my dad. I more watch Rambo films with my dad. I watch more Cliffhanger with my dad. I think I watched Lock Up with my dad. I don't remember. I only know that I watched Rambo and Cliffhanger with my dad the most. But I think that once, when back in 2016, in November, I actually did this movie on TV, and I remember my dad said, I'm gonna watch this movie, but I wasn't interested that time. I wanted to watch Rambo First of All Part 2, so we watched that time Rambo First of All Part 2. But I really don't remember if I watched this film. I think I never watched this film with my dad. But I saw this movie when I was around 10 years old. I think it was 9, 10 years old. I saw this film on TV. And when I saw like this young kid and his dad driving him with a truck, it kind of remind me that I was almost the same as this kid, Michael Cutler. I went with my dad, and my dad always took me from school on his day shift. I was on his day shift in a car, and I was cross country traveling him. Every time I was cross country travel with him, I always did that. And it really reminded me this kid Michael Cutler. He was like a rebel against him. He was like rebelling against him. He was he started hating his dad. I hated my dad too, because he was always dragging me on a long drive with the car. And I didn't know the time that his job was very hard. He was a salesman, and he worked very hard. But just like Michael Carter hated Lincoln Hawk, I hated my dad. But I love when Lincoln Hawk says we have to start somewhere, and I really love that. But this movie is beautiful. It's a classic film. It's 1 hour 33 minutes long. It's fast paced. It's not boring. I think that people who shit on it are wrong, or that it's just not for them. It's maybe just not for you, this film, but it is for me, and I love Over the Top a lot. I mean, it's definitely one of my personal favorite movies, probably my sport films, since was Rambo, Rocky, Cobra. This time it's Lincoln Hawk, the fight of his life, and it's actually an arm wrestling film. And I think a lot of people does not care about arm wrestling, but Real Steel is better because of fighting robots, and this guy is a douchebag, tries to solve his own fucking kid. I mean, Lincoln Hawk will never do that. He even fight those 2 guys try to kidnap his son, and I just love that. And the movie is a fight. The first hour is a fight for his son. Lincoln Hawk goes through the edge. He goes over the top to get his son back. He goes over the top. And that's what he does. He goes over the top. If you want something, you have to take it. Meet me halfway. If you want something, you have to take it. You were spoiled and rich, but now you have to do it for yourself. And I just love the lines. I mean, Manhunt Column, perfectly directed. And it all started, I have to go back once again. You can watch my review on Rambo First Part 2 from last year when I reviewed, but it started in 1984 when Sylvester Stallone was fired from Beverly Hills Cop, and he did that piece of shit movie, Rhinestone, a trash movie. How I know? Because last year it almost killed my earrings, because he was so loud he could not even sing. He was so loud that almost break my ears. So hard, so terrible his performance was in that film. He had a tough break, but after he was fired from Beverly Hills Cop, Sylvester Stallone approached independent studio, and this is, by the way, part of Canon Group, merged with Warner Brothers. But he approached the independent studio at the time, Canon Group, and he wanted to do a sequel to First Blood. And he was interested about searching POWs, and he liked the idea. And he went to he approached independent studio called Canon Group, asked them if they would be interested in doing the film, and they were interested in making the film. But Canon Group wasn't. They only could raise $3-4 million, while Sylvester Stallone, he wanted a big budget film, not low budget. He wanted a big budget, and they could not raise. Canon Group could not raise $30 million at the time. So Sly left, and he found another studio, and that was Carolco, emerged with Tristar at that time. But Canon Group was interested in the story, so instead they hired a cheaper actor than Sly, and it was Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris was approached, and he accepted the role because his younger brother has been killed in Vietnam War, and he was interested in doing this idea, and he did those two movies when they were shot back to back. He did that movie for his brother. So yeah. So now after Sylvester Stallone did Rambo First Part 2 and Rocky 4, because they were both movies, they were very successful. They made both of them. They made over $300 million. They break all the records that time. So back in 1986, I think it was 1985-86, Canon Group was emerging with Warner Brothers. And that time, when they were emerging Warner Brothers, they could raise finally $30 million. So they asked Stallone if he's still interested working with them, because they emerged with Warner Brothers and they could afford that kind of money. And Sylvester Stallone did work with them, and he did Cobra at that time. 1986, I already reviewed from last year. My review is still on it. But yeah, they were Sylvester Stallone accepted the role, and instead Beverly Hills Cop, Marion Cobretti, Cobra came out. So American Golem. So now we're back in 1987. American Golem. Let's say we're still back in 1986. American Golem keep asking Stallone if he will do this movie. He was keep he was keep how you call it, he was he was keep offering him money, but until Stallone had enough and said, okay, I'll do it, no one's gonna watch the film. But he did it because Van Golan kept offering him the money, so he do the film. And I remember, I actually read that on trivia yesterday. I watched this movie today, and I really hated what Sylvester Stallone said. He said that he was unhappy with this film. He said in an interview he was unhappy with this film. He would like make a better environment. He would like put better songs, not country songs. I was like, shut the fuck up, Stallone. I mean, I'm tired of your bitching about, why don't you leave us fans of this cult classic alone? Oh, he will do better job. You fucked up Rambo First Blood, Last Blood. I hate that goddamn fucking piece of trash movie. You fucked up Creed 2, and you're gonna say that Over the Top is not a good movie? It's definitely one of your best movies, in my opinion, Stallone. It's like he bitches about Rambo 3, but yet he has a picture on it on his Twitter or trivia Twitter. Yeah, I was kicked off Twitter. I got suspended from that website, so I can't watch his fucking profile. But I remember last year he had a piece of Rambo 3, but he was bitching about Rambo 3 because, oh, it was my fault. I did a Russian Vietnam. I mean, what the fuck? I'm tired that every good movie that a lot of fans enjoy. I enjoy this film. I enjoy. and guilty as charged. Yesterday I skipped Nighthawks. I only watched a few scenes and I got tired and boring. That's why I said it was a time waster, because it wasn't interesting. I did not skip this movie. I enjoyed this movie. I'm still gonna watch this movie, and yeah, I love this movie to death. Now I've been like 15 minutes about raging on Stallone, like his shitty remarks about it, that he will do a better job. Who cares? Or because it got like 50% Rotten Tomatoes, or because people shit on it. I'm defending this film. Over the Top is a classic arm wrestling sport film. It's also about father and son bonding together. So over the years, okay, the story already knows. Over the years, Lincoln Hawk goes and to this academy to get his son, his 10-year-old son. 10 years ago, he left his mom, actually his wife then left because of an argument with his I don't know how you call that, how you call them. I'm just gonna say with his wife's father. I think he left them. So now Michael's mom, Christina Cutler, she's dying with a heart. No one knows, but she's dying. And her last wish is that father and son get bond together. And when Lincoln Hawk shows up, at first Michael Cutler never heard about him. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know anything. And he asks him, and I actually agree with Michael, because he asks, do you have any documentation? It's right, because some stranger could say, oh, I'm your son, and then goes and kidnaps him. And I love when Lincoln says, it's okay, I'm ready. Just love that. They go together in the truck, and they don't get along at first. And Michael runs away, and Lincoln goes and broke his. He cuts his arm. I like that, his uniform. And I love when Michael says, "I hate you," and I love when Lincoln says, "That's okay, we can start there," and I just love that. And they like traveling. They like traveling in the truck to go to California, and he has like a big stop. He's a trucker. Yeah, I forgot to mention, Lincoln Hawk is a trucker and an arm wrestler, but his son at that time does not know. He thinks that he's actually that he was selling drugs. He never sold drugs. That's his grandfather, who hates them, told him that those lies. In the meantime, Jason Cutler by awesome Robert Loggia, rest in peace. I miss Robert Loggia. He passed away. He was the custody for Michael, and he's pissed because Lincoln took them. He hated Lincoln. And in meantime, when they go to this bar, by the way, this is a beautiful song, All I Need Is You. Love that song by Big Trouble, by those ladies, single ladies, Big Trouble. All I Need Is You. Love that song. And they're like fighting over the radio. They go to this bar, and this guy, this arm wrestler goes and he's challenging Hawk into a fight, and Hawk accepts the fight, goes into arm wrestling, and wins the fight. Wins the money, and like Bob Hurley, played by actor Rick Zumwalt. That's him. Bob Hurley, rest in peace. I miss the guy. I mean, Bob Hurley, he's 5 times champion, arm wrestle champion. He goes and he challenges Hawk. By the way, Hawk has been called Hawks by Jason Cutler and Bob Hurley in this movie. Just his name is Lincoln Hawk. But yeah, Lincoln Hawk. But I love his character, Lincoln Hawk. I love his character. He's a badass. I mean, I watched as a kid. I watched Rambo 3. I watched First Blood. I watched Rambo First Blood Part 2, and I watched this film, Over the Top. This is before I even saw Cliffhanger or Demolition Man. But yeah, those I grew up with 80s. I'm born in 1983, so I grew up with 80s films. And like I said, First Blood and Over the Top were actually the one movies that I always was thinking about the characters the actor Sylvester Stallone played. And of course Rocky 4. And Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago was like my inspiration. I always what a muscle, man. I mean, I was like huge fan of Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago. You know, too bad they fucked him up in Creed 2, but I enjoy him in Rocky 4. He was like quiet, and I just love that, you know. Now, Over the Top, like I said, so Lincoln Hawk wants to bond with his son. Meantime, he has to go into an arm wrestling competition in Las Vegas. And there's like 2-3 kids, and Lincoln Hawk goes and asks his son to go to fight into arm wrestling. And the kid beats him the first time, and Michael runs and cries, and Lincoln says, "No, you have to do it. You have to take it. What you want. You were spoiled and rich, and never do it for you. Now you have to do it for yourself. You have to take it." You know, beat me halfway, you have to take it. And he goes back and beats the kid into arm wrestling. You know, by the way, those 3 kids are beautiful. They're all beautiful. All of them are beautiful. They're beautiful kids. They're all beautiful kids, in my opinion. Better than nowadays, in my opinion. But yeah, so also he lets his son drive the car, and when Lincoln is talking to his ex-wife, you know, like 3 guys goes and kidnap Michael Cutler, and they put him in a truck. They escape. Lincoln goes, fights the guy, kicks like a badass. That's an action scene. He goes and punches in the fucking face. Goes with the truck after them, you know, and stops. And those 2 guys escape. And he says, "You tell him he's staying with me." And I love that. I just love that. I love Stallone. I love this guy to death. I love Stallone. Love this movie to death. This guy is a badass, you know. And he says the kid. They're now traveling together. They wake up. They make exercises. And I love the song by Kenny Loggins, "Meet Me Halfway." I love that song. And so they finally go to the hospital, and they found out that Christine died, you know, and no one knew. And now David, I want to say, Michael Carter is now upset, and he says, you know, I was driving the truck while she was dying, and I love when Lincoln says, "No one knew that," you know, and Michael now escapes. He goes into taxi, goes to Carter estate. So now there's a funeral, you know, because his mom died, you know. My mom died when I was 23 years old. This kid lost his mom when he was 10 years old. That's very sad, you know. And I'm going to characters, deep in the characters, and he like died, you know. His mom died, and his only one that he had was his dad and his grandfather. And now Lincoln is thinking about his son, and he goes to the Cutler estate, tries to talk with Jason Cutler. They don't want to talk with him. So he goes with this big monster truck, destroys the gate, destroys the door, you know, and like I love when Jason Cutler gets pissed at him. The few guys grabs Lincoln, and he gets arrested. He goes in prison, and he decides that they're not gonna press charges if he goes out of state. So he signs the custody for Michael to Jason Cutler. He now sells the truck for $7,000. He goes in the Las Vegas in competition, and like when he asks how much is on Lincoln Hawk, and they say 20 at 1, you know, just like Rocky. It was actually his whole shot was $1 million to 1. And he goes like 20 to 1, and he goes and he bet on himself. And I love the competition, you know. The competition are all badass, you know. I actually wrote a few competitions down. John Grizzly, played by Bruce Wayne. Randy Renee, he was in Rambo 3. Kuro, he was in Rambo 3 when Rambo and Kuro are fighting, you know. The guy who grabs him on the neck, you know, when Rambo makes that spin kick in the face and he gets blown to pieces. That's Randy Renee. who's also, this was actually his first role, and the last time we saw was Rambo 3. That was actually his last role. I mean, what happened to the actor who played Mad Dog Madison? And of course, Sam Scarborough, Bosco, Paul Sullivan, Carl Adams, and Rick Zumwalt, Bob Bull Harley. That's him, Bob Bull Harley. Rest in peace, Rick Zumwalt. Rick Zumwalt, I think he was paid around $100 or $10,000. He was like paid, and he got shaved his head, and he loved the haircut that he never let grow anything. Rest in peace, Rick Zumwalt. I really miss the actor. His best role as Bob Hurley, Stallone's best performance as Lincoln Hawk. I think these two guys were a team. Was great. I just miss those kind of movies. And now he goes to competition, and like they go with the arm wrestling. They all fight each other. And in the meantime, Michael finds out all the letters because Lincoln told him that he did wrote him. So he finds the letters. He goes and drives the car, escapes the car. He escapes. In meantime, we see an interview with all the competition, you know. And I think the guy, John Grizzly, says, I don't know who they are. They're my mortal enemy. I hate them. I love that, you know. And this guy, randomly, Mad Dog Madison says, you know, when someone is like on a shoulder, and I like that, you know, I like that. I think that the last one, Paul Sullivan Scarlett says there's more technique about it, and just like that. I don't remember the guy. I don't remember that guy. Sorry, the light, shitty light, because of the sun. I don't remember that guy Bosco, what he already said, but I love that, you know. I love when Bob Hurley says there's no second suck, you know. But I just love that, you know. I love the competitions. They go on wrestling, they fight each other, and I think this guy, I think was John Grizzly. I don't remember who it was, but he beat Lincoln Hawk, you know, the first time. But then, of course, now Jason Carter goes and he calls him and says, here's a track. I'm gonna give you a track if you get the hell out of my life, out of Michael's life. He says, no, I am done. I am done. You know, I'm gonna take him. When this is over, when this is over, I'm gonna take him. You know, and this guy goes and says, Mr. Cutler is talking to you. I'm through talking. And he goes, pushes him. And I love that scene. He goes, punches him, and goes and pushes him to the fucking door. That's a great action scene. I love that scene. You know, Mr. Cutler's talking to you. I'm through talking. And he goes, pushes him, and goes, pull. He goes, punches him in the fucking stomach and pushes him to the door. He deserves it. Like a badass, you know. He goes and fights the guy, beats the guy's shit. He's now the last. Bob Hurley and Lincoln Hawk are the last competitors. And I love when his son shows up and they tells him, you know, I want to be with you, but you have to win. And he says, then you're gonna do your own business, your truck business. Says that Bob Harley is strong. He never won. He never lost a fight in 5 years. He's a 5 times champion. And I love when his son gives him the same speech. Says, if you want something, you have to take it. You have to do it for yourself. Over the top. Meet me halfway, over the top. You know, and I just love that speech, you know, I love the speech in the film. And he goes and kicks, you know, it's like Bob Hurley goes and punches at the nose, breaks his nose. I was like, whoa, I was like screaming. He's like a badass, you know, that scene is a badass. That's Bob Hurley, that's Lincoln Hawk, and that's Michael. Badass scene. And Lincoln Hawk wins the competition, and he wins the grand prize, he wins the truck, he wins $2,000 plus $10,000. And now son and I love when father and son get bond together. They go with the Las Vegas with the truck. The movie ends. I don't know that song name, but it's a beautiful song. But yeah, like I said, it's a classic. It's just not for everyone. It's not for you. But I love this film. I I enjoy Over the Top. And yeah, the cast beside Sylvester Stallone, David Mendenhall, they both great. I think, like I said, they are a team. They both did great job. Bob Hurley, Lincoln Hawk's opponent, was great. No one dies in this movie except Christina Hogg dies in this movie, but Susan Blackwell did a good job. David Mendenhall and Sylvester Stallone are a team. They're both great. Robert Loggia as Jason Cutler as the grandfather who hates Lincoln did a great job. Bruce Wayne as John Grizzly did a good job. Randy Renee as Mad Dog Benson was awesome. Sam Scrabber Bosco was great. Paul Sullivan, Scott Adams is awesome. Rick Zumwalt was the best as Bob Hurley. I enjoy him. This movie, the budget was only $25 million for this movie. It made like only $16 million. It was like box office disappointment. They didn't deserve it. But I love this movie to death. I love the soundtracks in this country. The open scene, you have a great song. In this country, nah, nah. I can't sing, but I love that song. In this country is great. Played by Robin Zander. I love that song. All I Need Is You by Big Trouble. You know, when Michael and Lincoln are like arguing over radio. One turns off, the other turns out. Meet Me Halfway by Kenny Loggins. I enjoyed that song. And Winner Takes It All by Sammy Hagar. I keep continue listen to that song all the time. It's great, you know. Winner Takes It All. Oh yeah. Takes it all, winners it all, the fight to begin. I enjoyed that Winner Takes It All. It's a great song, you know, with competition. It's a great song. Oops. It's actually a great song, you know. I love the just show you when I wrote down, you know, the song Winner Takes It All by Sammy Hagar. I love the speech. What I do is I just try to take my head and turn it around, and it's like a switch that goes on. And when the switch goes on, I feel like another person. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a truck, a machine, you know. Fucking light. But I just love that song, you know, multi-time wrestler champion and future professional wrestler Scott Norton also makes an appearance along with other professional arm wrestlers. We have like female wrestlers in this film, such as Alan Fisher, John Vreeland, Cliff Dean, and Andrew Cobra Rhodes as the final match referee. Professional arm wrestler John Berzinak was Lincoln Hawk's inspiration for character. He was the real arm wrestler was John Berzinak. He actually really won the competition Over the Top. He won the money. He won the truck. He went through cross country, but he sold that truck and he bought Corvette instead. That was done for real. Rocky, Rambo, Cobra, and now Hawk in his biggest fight of his life. This movie was released in 13 February 1987, and it's a classic in my opinion. It's a good Stallone film. It won't be a good Stallone, but it is a good Stallone. And I love this car. I love his truck. I love his truck. I love his head. I don't have this head. But I would really love to have this head, like turn around. What I do, I just try to take my head and turn it around. It's like a switch that goes on. And when the switch goes on, I feel like another person. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a truck, a machine. I just love that, you know. And he feels like a truck. He feels like a machine. I mean, this movie beats Real Steel to pieces. Fuck Real Steel, I have that garbage movie. I don't know why is that movie that great. This movie is better, it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies from Sylvester Stallone. I still think I'll probably put Lock Up above this film, but I love Over the Top. I mean, 97. I miss the 80s classic films. This movie is beautiful. I mean, the cast is great. The cast did Stallone and David Mendenhall did a great job. They were like a team in this movie. I just miss this kind of character Sly was playing. Like Rico Hawk is such a cool character. He's an arm wrestler. He fights. He goes and fights for his son, and he fights in the competition to win the money and the truck. He goes and sells his old truck and fights for to get the truck back. And I just miss that. I miss Stallone's characters like that, over the top. I mean, Rico Hawk is such a cool character. I mean, get a grip on some championship entertainment, But this movie did not got jack shit, in my opinion. It did not got a special edition. It did not got any interviews or any trailer. This movie got jack shit on it. The people are shitting about good movies, And I just don't get it. I don't get the hate for this film. I think it's criminally underrated. I think it's one of the most underrated Stallone films, in my opinion. But I love this film. I love this film to death. I watched this film as a kid. That's my review on Over the Top, Sylvester Stallone, 1987. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace. And I'll see you tomorrow.